All right, everyone, welcome back into another live edition of the Patriots Beat podcast here on the CLNS Media Network, presented by our wonderful friends over at Prize Picks and Game Time. It's Brian Hines back as always with Alex Barth, and we are 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL draft, pretty much 2 weeks to the exact moment, Thursday night here. So we're almost there. We're battling through smokescreen and silly seasons still, but almost there, and we will have mock draft 5.0 coming up in a bit here tonight with maybe a special guest appearance from the old wheel. If anyone remembers that from last year, we will get into that. But we did want to start the show with some Patriots Hall of Fame talk because they released their 3 finalists up for consideration this year earlier Thursday. And that is Adam Vinatieri, Julian Edelman, and Logan Mankins. Mankins, this is his 3rd time that he's been a finalist, so he's back on the ballot, but some tough competition, right, going up against Vinatieri and Julian Edelman, which I'd imagine it's going to be one of those 2 guys. But Barth, what do you think of the 3 finalists, and which way are you kind of leaning there in your vote?
So all deserving, first and foremost. I kind of wondered if Mankins was going to get in over Vrabel 2 years ago, honestly. And I'm very glad he didn't, because I don't know that Mike Vrabel's the head coach of the Patriots now without him getting to come back here and give that speech and piss off Titans ownership. So that's a plus. But my vote would be for Adam Vinatieri. He is, some people have talked, not snubbed, what's the word, where it's been like so long, like withheld or whatever. I can't think of the word, but like part of the reason he hasn't gotten in, he was in the league so freaking long, and they weren't going to induct him while he was on the Colts. So they haven't had that many chances to do it. I don't think that they've like delayed his induction or anything, but game-winning field goal in 2 Super Bowls. When he left, he was the all-time leading scorer in the history of the franchise, made some of the biggest kicks as part of some of the biggest plays in the history of this organization. I also think there's something poetic with him and Parcells getting it together. So Edelman should absolutely get in. I wish he could be a first ballot guy because he probably deserves to be. So does Vinatieri, and that makes it tough. Now, what I wonder is, because it is a fan vote, and the fan vote is on the internet, which is mostly younger people because it's driven by social media, how many younger people really remember Vinatieri versus Julian Edelman's a lot more recent, a lot more active on social media. So I think it's going to be close. To me, it should be Vinatieri, and then we put Edelman in next year. That's what it should be. But I wouldn't be surprised if Edelman gets it. If he does, I just hope they get Vinatieri in, because he absolutely 100% deserves to be in. So does Logan Mankins. But the one other guy I can't believe we're not hearing talked about at all, and the first time I said this, I got a lot of blowback. I didn't realize it was such a controversial take, especially since we're talking about like putting Wes Welker in down the road, and maybe that's trying to lure another coach here. I don't know, but Randy Moss. Why isn't Randy Moss get any conversation? That ovation he got when he came back for the Brady thing, you don't think he should be in? Like, I know it was short and it didn't end well. He's an all-time Patriot to me. He just is. What he did in his short time here. And by the way, Parcells is going in. Length of tenure maybe doesn't matter as much. So I wouldn't put him in over Vrabel, or I wouldn't put him in over Vrabel or Edelman or Vinatieri, or maybe even Mankins. But we got to start putting his name in that next guy up thing, because he deserves to be there with Welker and some of these other guys that are talked about. Rodney's already in, right? This is the Patriots Hall of Fame. So that's one more point on Adam Vinatieri. The Patriots have done this in the past. They did it with Ty Law. They did it with Richard Seymour, using their Hall of Fame as a platform to help players for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which wrongly and disgustingly snubbed Adam Vinatieri this year. So let's help Vinatieri get that push to get in. To Canton, as well as
all 3 of the finalists should definitely be in at some point. I would, like, if I had to put money on it, I'm with you, kind of with the fan vote would probably come up Jules. But all 3 of those guys should definitely come in. My big thing is, like, they're gonna have to change the rules, I feel, at some point, to let more than just one person in, because you're gonna start to get this second wave of these dynasty guys that you're seeing with Jules, right? You're gonna have the McCourties of the world, the Hightowers, like all these second wave dynasty guys. And we're already struggling to get like Logan Mankins and Welker, and Moss can't even get on the ballot, right? Like it's going to be really tough.
But you know what's going to happen, Brian?
All these guys in.
There's been 5-6 years now. where you don't have any players worth inducting, and they can't stop doing it. So a log jam, a backlog is actually good for them. I don't think they have any problem with the log jam.
All right. We'll
because
see.
if you start rushing guys in before you know it, like, because they're not going to not do it. So if you start guys in before you know it, Stephen Ridley's on the ballot. No offense to Stephen Ridley. He's not a Patriots Hall of Fame. So, like, you gotta, I don't think they're against stretching it out.
When does Bill get in, do you think? Belichick.
I think he'll get the Brady thing. Whenever he's done and he's like actually done, they'll say, just like with Brady, hey, no vote this year. It's Bill. I think they probably could have done it this year, but I think with him at UNC, like, he's not going to take a weekend off from UNC to come back up here and do this. So I think it's once he's done at UNC, they'll say, hey, no vote this year. It's Bill. And if Bill wants, I don't know what Bill will want, but if Bill wants, they'll bang out the stadium again and they'll do that thing. And instead of Peyton Manning coming up there, it'll be, and who else did Brady have for special guests? It'll be Lawrence Taylor, and we'll get like Romeo Crennel back here and Ernie Adams. And did Ernie speak at Brady's thing? I don't think he did.
No.
He was there.
You just need Lawrence Taylor and Matthew Slater on stage and
Steve Diossi.
Bill's set. Yeah, literally. Yeah. It won't take much to make him happy, probably.
Yeah, that's what I went once. Look at this way. Once Bill wants to be in, he'll be in. I think it's a matter of him kind of just giving them the thumbs up. Like, all right, let's do it.
Yep. All right. So that is Hall of Fame. Again, you can go to patriots.com and vote between Mankins, Vinatieri, and Edelman if you haven't already. And then I don't know when the winner is decided, but then we'll figure that out. And they'll do the regular ceremony, Hall of Fame induction sometime during preseason training camp later in the summer. So go vote again, patriots.com if you haven't yet. And we will keep everyone updated when we figure out the winner, and we'll talk about it then. But let's get back into the mock drafts 5.0 version tonight. And because we are on 5.0
and 5, what is it? 5.1, 5.5. What do we call
did
the second one?
5.5 last year, because we might squeak 2 in here, because let me pull up. We have the wheel. We brought back the wheel. It got a little, because when things got a little stale last year, we brought the wheel into this to spice things up. I went back and looked. We hit Drake May. The wheel gave us ACC, and we got Drake May. Yeah. And then in the third round, we got Jalen Polk.
Oh,
and that was a chat pick. So no one can yell at us for that. That was the chat who got that. So you see the categories here. If people are watching, we have the conferences: Big 10, Big 12, SEC, ACC. Non-Power 5, we're calling it, but and then best player available, my choice, Barth's choice, chat choice, trade up, trade down, just pick offense or defense. So we spin this before every selection, and that decides who we are going to basically draft, and the wheel points us in that direction, and then we'll discuss whatever prospects that we are able to after that. So
yeah, it's really just first off, shout out to the Patriots Drive podcast. I was on with them as a guest, and we did this, and it was great. So their idea, shout out to them, credit to them. And it's good because really what this exercise is about ultimately is just getting familiar with different prospects in different scenarios. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to learn a bunch of different names, and we're going to get to some prospects that maybe we haven't gotten to as much in our previous mock drafts. And that's it's a learning experience, and we're at the mercy of the wheel. So there's only so much wiggle room. So we kind of have to get outside the box here.
It'll force us to go different directions. We hope. Yeah. Ultimately, that's.
Did I forget last year? Did we remove respecting the board because of the wheel? I think we still did respect the board. I still want to respect the board.
I think we did. So
yeah,
we'll keep respecting the board, but we got to spin before we start, right? Because we could be trading up here.
Right, we could be trading up. I hope a bunch of people have asked about this. I don't think it makes sense, because if that team wants Carter or Hunter, they're not going to trade you the pick. And if they don't want him and they want a quarterback, well, that means he's falling to you anyway. So there really isn't a ton of incentive to trade up. But let's see. Maybe the wheel says we should try it. It's all about trying new things, Brian. We're getting outside of our comfort zone. So hit that and give that free advertising to whatever that purple company is right there. And Let's see.
Defense.
Oh boy.
Oh, defense.
Oh,
So
there's a little clap
I
too.
think
I love
last
it.
year we removed it right after we got it.
Yeah. Each one gets
Okay.
one, and then we pull it out. So, but do you
I'll
wait?
remove it.
I was gonna say copy and paste the
Yep.
list so that
So
when
we
we go
have
back
it.
the second time, you don't have to put it all back in. All right. So, um, defense. What would we have done if Travis Hunter's still on the board? Would we have just called him a cornerback? Like
Probably.
Travis Hunter supersedes the wheel. That's how good of a
Is he?
prospect he
Oh
is.
wait. Well, we got to pull up. Let's go draft here.
Yeah, you might have to go back and forth on that, or one of us is going to have to. You got it?
It's coming.
There we
Slow
go.
and
Okay.
steady.
So as you see, Mason Graham went second.
How about that?
So Abdul Carter's here. Here's the question, Brian, because I think at this point it's pretty clear with the Patriots. Not clear what they're thinking, but like we're starting to get rumblings and things like that. Abdul Carter, Jalen Walker. If both of these guys are here, who are the Patriots going to take? I had this conversation on Felger and Maz yesterday. Abdul Carter's the better player. But there's also that culture thing. Now, on one hand, part of the reason you build a strong culture is so when there are these players that maybe aren't who you want them to be personally, you can still bring them in because the culture is going to be able to help them. High tide lifts all boats. Bill Belichick did that for years. But it's a lot easier to do that 10 years in to having the culture established versus in year one. The other thing is, Jalen Walker is, by all accounts, a culture guy. He's a pillar. And is the gap between Carter and Walker close enough that the culture stuff help as a player? Is the gap close enough on tape that they look in Walker and say, this is a guy we want on our football team, future captain, leader of this program, and that he's close enough to Abdul Carter that it puts him over the top? That's the question that we have to ask here.
A lot of Jalen Walker hype the last couple days, probably because of that.
I'm glad we got this because I wanted to have this conversation tonight.
So, where are you kind of at with that? Because I agree. Like, I definitely think Abdul Carter is the better player, but then we hear, around this time of the draft season, you get all the reports of people who are kind of digging more into the character and the behind the scenes type of stuff. We had the truck stop incident last year, I believe it was, where, Dane Brugler mentioned that in the Beast. And then who else comes out and had the stuff
I forget that guy's name. I know who you're talking. Let me find it. Hang
on. It was some report that, maybe he's not all there throughout the week, but then, he's so talented. He's just going to show up on Saturday or, Saturday in the college game and just dominate because he's so talented. But, is the work ethic there during the week with a guy like Abdul Carter as compared to, as you said, with Jalen Walker? He's a leader. I believe he was a captain at Georgia. People rave about him kind of off field and the intangibles and the IQ and stuff like that. So to me, I would probably still lean Abdul. I just think he's that much more talented. And I would take the chance, right? You brought Mike Vrabel in to establish this culture. I think like you take a risk on a guy like Abdul Carter, unless he is coming on a 30 visit soon and it's that bad. But I would probably go Abdul still. But did that gap maybe close, or did Walker take over for Carter in your eyes?
So the report from Bob McGinn was that
Yep.
that Carter is not good during the week in the sense that he basically dogs at practice because he knows how talented he is. I'm with you. I trust the culture. I think Carter's that talented. I would take Carter.
Take Carter then.
I mean, I'd look to trade down, but the wheel is telling us defense, so we have to take defense. So
we got to take defense.
The phone isn't ringing. That's the assumption here. So we're taking Abdul Carter.
Yep, and then pause it because we got to.
And then pause it in case you have to trade up. Yep.
So Abdul, we had to go defense. Abdul's the pick.
All right.
So we'll pause.
Let's go back to the wheel.
We'll bring the wheel back up just in case we have to trade up.
Let's see.
We're going SEC for round 2.
All right, so I'll run this out.
I missed how hyped the wheel got us.
Are there going to be any SEC tackles here? This is not a great spot for the SEC, Brian. Tell you that right now. The
Oh
top
boy.
SEC tackle on the board is Cameron Williams, who is a right tackle who might be a guard. After him, it's Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, who is a mid-day 3 pick. We're going to have to wait on tackle. Trey Amos is here from Ole Miss, Landon Jackson, Maxwell Harrison, so some good corners. Princely Uman-Mielen, if we want to go on the edge. Braden Swinson, Demetrius Knight, Dylan Sampson might be a little early, but Dylan Sampson is there. Jared Ivey, Andrew Makuba, again, probably a little early at this point. Nicky Manwari's still here. Good defensive player. If we want to go defense again, Tate Ratledge, Trey Harris, if we want to go receiver, Kyle Kennard, Alfred Collins. I mean, I'm on to page 2 now. Mason Taylor, Chris Paul. I guess I got to get you saying Pooh Paul, Vernon Broughton, Jared Wilson. Yeah, we're well into third round guys now. Jalen Milrow. Any of those names stand out to you, Brian?
Man, I mean, I think the best talent is probably edge, but we just drafted Abdul Carter, right? So you probably don't want to double
That's
up
true.
with like a Princely or a Braden Swinson and there's really there's no tackles. So do you go guard or, Trey Harris? Is Trey Harris the best receiver?
Who was it? There was one other receiver that was in there. No, it was Trey Harris. Trey Harris wouldn't be a bad pick here. I'm not taking Isaiah Bond. He's off the board.
Yeah.
There's always one, like 2 weeks before the draft. There's always one guy. Trey Harris. Yeah, the guards could be third round. The corners are all outside corners though. So if there was a slot guy, I'd say maybe. I still think Makuba is going to go higher than he's being projected. I don't hate Andrew Makuba here, but we're going to get yelled at if we do that.
We're going to get yelled at for anything, but we can blame the wheel this time. So
we can blame the wheel. It might be Trey Harris.
Yeah.
If we're not going to get Drake May a tackle, let's at least get him an X receiver.
Yeah, that's probably where I would go at this point, Trey Harris. Just get some size out there on the boundary.
I think so too. There are some good corners here. Maxwell Harrison, Trey Amos, there's some good SEC corners. They're both outside guys, and I just don't think drafting an outside corner here when you have Gonzalez and Davis makes a lot of sense. Amos could maybe play safety, somebody says in the chat, which sure. I don't know that I want to draft a position change guy here either.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Harris. That just it fits a need, of especially what you need in that wide receiver room. So, and he's someone who honestly could be in consideration here if they're not abiding by the wheel, which we are, but we have to go SEC here. We don't want to go edge because we just picked Abdul Carter. So I like Trey Harris. I like that.
Again, it's all about learning new prospects, new outcomes. It could happen. I've been warning people about this, that they don't take a tackle at the top and they think they're going to trade back up and they don't get the trade done. This is exactly what happened last year. So I know that Ursari's still there, but let's say he isn't. Let's say that run on tackles happens. This is kind of where they're going to be. Now, there's some other options here who are non-SEC guys, right? I would love Jalen Noel with this pick. He would make a lot of sense. Some of the Big Ten edge guys certainly would make sense. Like a Jackson Sawyer, guys like that. But this is where we're at. Too early for Dylan Sampson, right? I like Dylan Sampson for them, but I think this is a little early.
Yeah, I think I like pick 69 for him. I think makes a ton of sense. Okay. But yeah, this is probably a little bit too early. So
again, this is the wheel draft. This is to learn more players. I see people asking why we're not taking Jack Beck. Unless TCU moved to the SEC, which maybe they did. There's too much conference movement. We are letting the wheel dictate our picks to learn new players.
This is an interesting one. Did Mason Taylor go?
Mason Taylor's still there.
So how would you feel Mason Taylor v. Trey Harris?
And by the way, I think this is more realistic. People are mocking Mason Taylor at 68. He's not getting there. I said on Catch 22 earlier this week, I wonder if Mason Taylor is a sneaky first-round pick.
First round, really? Okay.
Yeah. Look, he's the third tight end. He's clearly the third tight end. Sox win on a walk-off. Love to see it. Thanks for the update, Murph. I think he'd be like maybe not first round, but like top 40. Like nobody's going to take a tight end for 50 picks. Think about where Warren and Loveland are going to go. There's going to be no tight ends for 50 picks.
Yeah,
I don't
makes
see that
sense.
happening. So I wouldn't hate Mason Taylor, but like he's still going to be behind Hunter Henry. He's still got kind of a longer path to play. Trey Harris, your X receiver day one.
Yeah.
And I just like that availability. And I think he's a good player too. Like him and Mason Taylor are comparable. Taylor's maybe like a tiny bit better of a prospect, but they're about the same level. And when you factor in positional value, I would go Trey Harris.
All right, let's do Trey Harris.
All right, Trey Harris. So we have gone Abdul Carter, Trey Harris, says the wheel. And I paused it. So let's see what the wheel says now.
All right. Well, before we get to the wheel, I want to tell our wonderful listeners about our friends over at Prize Picks. There we go. Up. And we know the sports season is over, or the football season is over, but the sports roll on, and it does so on Prize Picks, where you just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Tons of sports going on right now. We got hockey playoffs coming up, basketball playoffs, baseball season is in full force. We got the Masters going on. Barth, did you have a Masters pick for the people?
I didn't. I just wanted to be close. That's what I root for every year. Just let it be close on Sunday.
Good down the stretch, but you could pick a golfer that you like, more or less on his total score for the round, birdies, all that good stuff. Trevor Story. I think Murph said Trevor Story just got the game-winning RBI. So the Red Sox are hitting. You can put some of those baseball players in your lineup, and then of course Jason Tatum, always throw more than his points in the lineup as well there. And David Pastrnak, again, I tell you guys every episode, he can't stop scoring. Put him or Maureen Geeky there, more than points, goals, anything, get those points in your lineup. So make sure you download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. All over on Prize Picks. Run your game. All right. Back to the wheel here.
It was like the softest contact walk-off hit ever.
That makes sense. Trevor Story.
All
right, so we lost defense and SEC.
Yep.
Let's see where we're going for our third selection here.
Oh, yeah, well, it's spinning. I forgot about this. Somebody called me Catch 22 yesterday, said you should start a podcast called Hindsight.
Hindsight.
Yeah.
Best player available.
All right, 3. BPA. Well, this is going to be interesting. So it's not, I forget, is this blindly selecting the best player on the board, or is it us deciding who the best player available is?
I don't remember how we did this.
I think this is just like us making a normal pick.
But like not taking positional value or positions into things?
No, I think this is just us going about it like, hey, who would you draft here?
Well, no, because we have a just pick feature on the wheel.
Oh, so this is blindly best player available.
I think so.
Within respecting the board.
Yeah.
Is this respecting the board for Kevin Winston?
Yeah, I think he'd be there in round 3.
Well, I'd rather use the ADP number than the PFF number. So Elijah Arroyo's 62. So it'd be Elijah Arroyo. Yeah.
All right.
So
that's our BPA.
So there is one that says just pick.
Yes, there is a just pick. So that's when we get to.
Okay, so this is plain best player available.
Yeah. So Arroyo.
Yep. And then I gotta pause it.
What do you like? What do you like about Arroyo? Do you think that's a realistic possibility there in round 3?
No, he's not their kind of tight end. He's not a Josh McDaniels tight end. But
okay.
We added speed and size to the pass catchers. So like this is a weird draft. I don't know. I would be if this is there. Well, we got one more pick on day 2. Hang on. Spin the wheel. Let's see if we have to trade up.
Move back. I forget how slow everything the wheel makes everything.
Well, Orbeez got to get their ad time there.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, ACC would be helpful right now. Non-Power 5. Okay. Let it run.
Holy
Non-P. Oh, I know who we can take here. I think he's listed as an IOL, but he's a tackle. Or he's listed as a tackle, or he went.
Holland Pierce.
Charles Grant. Holland Pierce.
Oh.
Power 5.
Oh, yeah. Charles Grant. I would. Yeah.
He's got some work to do, but like he has starter upside.
The athletic
Maybe
ability is off the charts.
Yeah, he's probably like, you still might see Vidarian Lowe week 1, but like eventually, like Charles Grant has the tools to get there. Let's see who else there is, but I'm freaking out that we don't have a tackle. Kai Williams, Jalen Royals, and Kai Williams are both non-power 5 for now. No, RJ Harvey is power 5. I got to like remember all the new conferences in my head here.
I know.
SMU's power 5 now, or power 4 now. I guess we should have been saying power 4. Charles Grant's kind of like the best. David Walker's an edge guy, but we took an edge guy. Harold Fannin, I don't think this is outside of respecting the board for Harold Fannin, but we just took Elijah Arroyo. So that wouldn't make a lot of sense. And yeah, now we're into like true day 3 guys. So I think Charles Grant's our left tackle.
I mean,
that's
tons of athletic ability. Like, there's a lot to work with there.
Yeah, he's big too, right? Like, he's got good size. 6'4", 300. I thought he was a little bigger than that. But I mean,
tackle
something.
Yeah.
All right, Charles Grant.
You could do worse in the 3rd round for a tackle there, I would say.
Look, yeah, I wouldn't love how much they put it off, but like, okay, Trey Harris is an ex-receiver. He's going to give you something. Still going to be talking wide receiver in the 1st round next year, but he's going to give you something. Elijah Arroyo, does Josh McDaniels figure out how to use that kind of tight end? Maybe, maybe not. And then you have a tackle with some legit upside. He's further away than some of the guys I'd like to see them draft, but he has some legit upside.
Yeah. All right. So there's our through 2 days haul. You got your offensive guys and your edge. As David Pasternak just scored, I told you guys. I hope you got him in your prize picks lineup very, very quickly before that. But all right. So we'll be on the clock again soon. Let's see if we are trading up or what is going down with pick. Our next selection there to start the 4th round.
Trading up from 106 would be interesting.
Just pick. All right.
Just pick. Okay.
Go about this in a normal fashion.
All right. So we'll let it run to 106. Jeez, Kyle Williams still here. So we've got a tight end, an edge guy, a wide receiver, and a tackle. This is where like doubling up. Oh man, I'd say doubling up on tackle here, but Belton went. What do we have for interior guys?
Seth McLaughlin.
Yeah, good run on interior guys too. Do we want to go running back here? Devin Neal's still on the board. ETN still on the board.
Jaden Blue they met with.
Yeah, he worries me. He's got fumble problems. Jacob Parrish here could be a nice pick. Get a slot corner, play a little on the boundary. And we can wait on Billy Bowman. Who knows? We'll get another chance to pick him. Who do we got for defensive tackles? NES Peebles, Jamari Caldwell.
We've picked Caldwell, I think, a couple times in our drafts now.
We picked him last week with Taylor. I kind of like Jacob Parrish here.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad pick.
Add some versatility to the defensive backfield. Hopefully somehow get a guard later. Yeah.
Good athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob Parrish?
Yeah, that works.
All right. Still haven't gotten either of the trade ones. We're going to get trade down on 238. I think that happened last year. We got trade down on like the last pick.
So we have the trades. We have my choice, your choice, chat choice, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and just offense.
Yeah. And yeah, we are respecting the board with Kyle Williams at this point.
Here we go. You spoke.
There we go. Trade down. All right. So we are trading down from pick 144. So we're going to create a significant gap. Which if we were going to do that, what I kind of want to do Brian, you might have to get the trade chart up. So we got 152 and 156 calling. 144 for 156 and a future 6. Does that work from the Steelers?
Hold on, we're pulling it up.
Okay.
The wheel is slowing things down.
Of course. I'd love to get a future pick somehow, some way out of this draft. I really would.
What are we giving up again?
Well, we're getting up 144.
144. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
For 156 and a future 6.
156 and a future 6. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Definitely.
Move back 12 spots, get a future pick.
Then pause. You have to pause it again because we might trade up.
Oh, this happened last year.
That happened.
Yeah,
that was
ahead.
The one that happened last year. Yeah, that definitely happened last year.
All right, go ahead, spin it.
Pull it up. Chat choice.
Oh, we're gonna get the chat. All right.
Good.
So the way we did this last time is like we picked 3 or 4 guys and then we let people vote.
Yeah.
So what positions are we still looking at? I think we're still looking at running back. I know the chat loves them some Marcus Yarns.
They do love some Marcus Yarns. We haven't got any like interior offensive, defensive linemen.
McLaughlin's still here. I think this is about right for him. So is Dylan Fairchild. So we'll go Yarns. Don't vote yet. I won't count it if you do. McLaughlin, Fairchild.
Get running backs.
I put Yarns on there. Ty Robinson. It's a little low, but not unrealistic. Throw Ty Robinson on there. And let's see, we got a safety and linebacker, I think, are the other 2 positions we have, unless you want to maybe add another wide receiver.
Probably not.
Jordan Hancock's an interesting one. He plays like a whole bunch of different positions. Upton Stout is a slot corner. Any thoughts there, Brian? Maybe we skip safety for now.
Yeah, you can skip that.
Cody Simon, Danny Stutzman, I think we're in respecting the board territory with. Stutzman, would you agree?
What pick are we? 156?
156, yeah. Cody Simon, I think maybe is in play here.
Yeah.
And then we have not added a true slot receiver, so if there's any left, not really. Do you want to throw Dante Thornton on the board? Let's keep Dante Thornton because we still have some chips. We might still have some spots on the wheel. We might take them. All right, so you have 5 people to choose between. Don't vote yet. When I'm done, I will tell you guys when to vote. Marcus Yarns, the running back from Delaware, who's like a pass-catching back, speed back. Seth McLaughlin, center, Ohio State. He's a torn Achilles. He's the best center in this draft. Tore his Achilles, so he's going to fall, but maybe center of the future. Dylan Fairchild, starting left guard from Georgia, just solid left guard. Ty Robinson, who's a multi-positional defensive lineman, physical, high motor guy, a little undersized, but makes up for it. And Cody Simon was just a monster production linebacker for Ohio State. Probably an early down guy. He's going to play on special teams. Anything you want to add to any of that, Brian?
I think we're good. Let's throw it to the chat.
All right. Marcus Yarn, Seth McLaughlin, Dylan Fairchild, Ty Robinson, Cody Simon. First one that gets 5 names in the chat starting now.
No pressure. They got Jalen Polk last year, so.
That's true. You guys got Jalen Polk last year, so you got to. Well, it is a predictive exercise, I like to say. So technically, they got it right. All right, that's 1 for McLaughlin.
2 for McLaughlin.
Oh, we go. I thought this was going to be. Oh, whoa, here we go. One for Yarns. 2 more for McLaughlin.
4.
1 for Fairchild. And it's Seth, right? Yeah, McLaughlin. Robbie Utes probably should have been in there, but all right. Marcus Yarns is close. There's the Marcus Yarns voters are not as fast as Marcus Yarns is. They're coming in late.
The Seth votes are piling up still.
Seth McLaughlin.
I thought that was going to go Yarns all day.
I thought so. No, the chat knows ball, and the chat wants to keep Drake May protected. I love it.
There we go, chat.
Do we still have trade up?
Yes, we do.
All right, so I'll take this pick and pause it. That would be ridiculous. I mean, we're at 171. We really can't move up that far from 156. So we'll get it here. Go ahead, spin the wheel. Good job, guys. I like that. Probably got nothing for Cody. There might have been a Cody Simon one in there.
Oh, trade up.
Oh, all right. Well, this is just nonsense. We have those 2 7s. Brian, what does 171 plus 238 get us?
171.
We still might have to get something back.
171 plus 238. It gets us into like the 150s. What pick are we at right now?
161. 161 like, the future 7th?
Yeah,
it won't do it.
That's fine.
But you'll take 220. Okay. 171 and 220 so we're moving up 10 spots and we're trading a second this year for a 7th this year for a 7th next year with the Eagles.
Fair.
All right. It wanted us to. So wait, after trade down was chat choice. I got to keep up with this. Chat and then trade up.
And then trade up, and then we're
now
going.
we spin the wheel again at 161.
We got Big 10, Big 12, ACC, my choice, your choice, offense. Barth's
I want a running back here. We haven't gotten a running back. All right, let's see what we got for running backs at 161. Is Brashard Smith still here? No, not tight end. Is Brashard Smith still here? He's not. Oh, it's my choice.
Yeah. Barth.
Y'all have been disrespecting Kyle Monangai. You haven't been talking about him enough. Let me see who else is here. Jaw Joyner. Who's here for safety? Still don't have a safety, right? Yeah, I don't love any of these safeties. And we already got a slot corner, so we don't need like a hybrid guy. Yeah, I want Kyle Monangai.
In the Marcus Yarns crowd's face there.
Yarns is a better pass catcher, and like they do need that. Monangai, how many passes did Monangai catch last year? Let me see if I can justify this. Like, I feel like Barth's choice should be like me kind of playing up how I view the draft. You know what I mean?
Kicker.
Like your choice. If we get your choice in these last 2 picks, well, no, it has to be Hunter Wooler. We only have 1 pick left.
Yeah.
Like you have to. Oh, he only caught 14 passes last year, and that's a career high. I don't know that I can justify that.
He didn't have a drop though.
I could reach on the Quint Allen. You're right. I think I'm going to reach on the Quint Allen. I'm going to do the middle ground. I really like Kyle Monangai. If they double up and they want an early down back, Monangai is really good. He runs super mean, all of that. Like, please understand. I feel like it's Isaiah Pacheco all over again. I feel the same way about him that I did about Isaiah Pacheco. He's being projected too low. He's got motor at that position, which is legit. Like, that means something really at the running back position. It reminds me a ton of it. Don't sleep on Kyle Monangai. If they double up and they want an early down and passing down back, then he definitely fits as one of those. But I think they want the passing down back more than they want the early down back. Monangai's not an experienced pass catcher. It is a predictive exercise. I'm not going to go Marcus Yarns, though. I think LaQuint Allen is one of the top pass catching backs in this draft are Allen, Marks, and Brashard Smith. Those are the top 3. Brashard Smith's not here. I think we've taken Woody Marks a couple of times. It's a little bit of a reach, but hey, James White, I think, was a reach when they took him in the 4th round, and that turned out okay. So I'm going to take LaQuint Allen here at 161, and then I can let it run because we're done with trade-ups.
I like that pick. I like LaQuint Allen.
So that's
good receiver.
Pick.
All right, so we got one more.
Yeah.
Let's pull the wheel back up.
All right. Let's spin the wheel one more time. Oh, what does that add? Jeez, that guy's right in our face. Big 10, Big 12, ACC, offense, or Brian's choice. Brian's choice will also be Big 10, by the way.
Big 12.
Big 12? Okay.
Ended out with the Big 12.
Close it out with the Big 12. All right, who do we got?
We deserve to end this with the Pac-12. Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah, really. We almost left Pac-12 in the wheel.
Yeah.
Corey Kiner for one other running back. Jeez. Kareem Reed. We never got a linebacker, did we?
We did not. Well, I mean, we got Carter, but he's edge.
Yeah. Will Shepard. Well, we took Trey Harris. I like Will Shepherd as an X, but we took Trey Harris. Not Mac McWilliams. I do like Mac McWilliams. We have a slot corner. Maybe play some safety. Oof. Now Memphis in the AAC, right? Memphis is not in the Big 12 yet.
No.
Yeah, we're not gonna have a lot. Aubrey Burks. I honestly don't know a lot about him. Shamari Simmons. So Nick Martin's an interesting one. Nick Martin's actually an interesting player. He had an unbelievable season in 2023. Like, he was awesome all over the field. And he had like 140 tackles, playing on all three downs, hyper athletic, all of that. But it was the only year he ever played. Like, he didn't really even play as a backup before that. And then last year he got hurt super early in the season. So this might not be respecting the board territory for him, but just like it might be. I don't know, Brian. I'll get your thoughts on that. But like, he's a total lottery ticket. He's a total wild card. But if you believe in the 2023 tape, as limited of a sample size as it is, there is plenty to point at in terms of an upside.
Well, they can afford to do that at the linebacker position, right? You know, you have Spillane, Gibbons, you brought back Christian Ellis. Like, you could take kind of a lottery ticket at that spot. So that would make sense. I think that's respecting the board.
Yeah. Brant, it's Keith, right?
I believe so.
He's kind of like a hybrid fullback if we want to do that thing. Shiloh Sanders. Yeah, we're kind of dropping it now.
Someone asked if there's any kickers.
Oh, are there? Tyler Loop. Tyler Loop is a kicker from Arizona. Should be. It's not. So we can't take him. We have to pretend he's off the board. Yeah, that's a bummer. So basically it's between, who was the other guy that kind of made sense? Kareem Reed. And Kareem Reed, by the way, really athletic, 4-down player, good on special teams. He was a team captain, multi-year starter. He can probably play some as an edge rusher too. There's some upside there. He's just kind of undersized. Think role. I hate to use this comp because people are going to get mad, but like, just let me think if I can think of a better comp. I can't. He's smaller, but he's not small. Let me remind myself. 6 foot, 230. So, like, he can play a little on the edge on passing downs. He's got good athleticism. He's going to be really good on special teams. Team captain. I'm kind of talking myself into this at this point. Nick Martin has some crazy good upside, but, like, if we're, like, Kareem Reed is a Vrabel guy.
Sounds like it. Team captain. Play special teams right out of the gate.
That. Let me make sure I'm thinking of the right guy before as convincingly as I said that.
No,
some of these guys run together, but I just did my. He was captain. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he 2-year captain?
See.
Yeah, this is. I don't. Yeah, 2-year captain, 23 and 24. 2-year captain, 3-year starter. And he's an older prospect. He's one of these guys that did a church mission in between. So I think he's a little bit older, but
Dane has in the beast, mature, selfless leader, voted team captain in 2024.
Yeah. This is
he's made of the right stuff.
Yeah, this is the guy. We're gonna wrap it up with Kareem Reed here.
He will be 25 on draft weekend, so he is older.
Okay. But... Yeah. So come in, he'll play like 7-8 really good years of special teams, and hopefully contribute on defense a little bit. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he ends up as an edge rusher in the NFL. But okay, so the board made us pick defense first. Is it shared here? Yeah. I'll show the grades on this one because the grades are to the side.
Yeah, it's whatever.
The board told us to go defense. We went defense. We debated Abdul Carter versus Jalen Walker. We took Abdul Carter. Then the board told us SEC. There were no SEC tackles, so we took Trey Harris. Then the board told us best player available, which is not us picking the best player available. It's the average draft position, best player available. That was Elijah Arroyo. Finally, we got non-power 5. Who would have thought that would give us the tackle? It's Charles Grant. Then it was Jess pick. So this was us actually going through it. Jacob Parrish. The chat picked Seth McLaughlin from a group of 5 players.
You got the best grade.
That was after a trade down. Then we had a trade up in a ridiculous move. I took LaQuint Allen because I wanted the pass catching back, much to the chagrin of the Marcus Yarns people. And then we had to go Big 12, and we got a special teams ace future captain in Kareem Reed. Brian, how would you feel?
I don't mind it. I mean, ideally, you're not waiting till 77 to get a tackle, but if you have to wait till 77 to get a tackle, like Charles Grant's a pretty good tackle to fall to you at that spot. You know, you obviously get Abdul at the top, one of the best two players in the draft, like puts the bow on that defense that you've kind of remodeled in free agency. You get some size in Trey Harris, and then an interesting athlete at the tight end spot in Elijah Arroyo. Then some guys you hope, Seth McLaughlin can chip in the future when he's healthy, and then some kind of wild cards there at the bottom. So really not bad for, abiding by the wheel there, I would say.
It's an interesting one. I'm nervous about the tackle position.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about Elijah Arroyo. I kind of love the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like, besides that, I think it's a really solid draft. There's just a lot of talent here. There's a lot of talent, and maybe the wheel is just forcing us to kind of put the need and all that to the side and just take who we think are the best players. But there's a lot of talent. All right, do we want to run one more?
We can do one quick one.
All right, let's run one more.
Before we do that, though, we'll get to 5.5. Make sure you just save that so we can post that too, just FYI.
Yep.
I will want to tell you guys about our friends over at Game Time. We all love going to games live, and we do it all on the Game Time app, and they have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier, because they filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The Red Sox, no, they're going on the road. The Celtics back at home, I believe, soon to wrap up the regular season. They are tomorrow. The Charlotte Hornets come to town. $99 is, or $87 is the cheapest now on the Game Time app. Or you can move down a couple rows behind their bench, fire up one of their super deals, Game Time Picks, $158. Great view, great seats there. I don't think Jaylen Brown, you're going to have to tell me what's going on with Jaylen Brown, because I haven't been following that long. But Celtics, good seats. Good view there to watch.
I don't think anybody knows what's going on with Jaylen Brown.
Okay, there we go. I'm not that far behind then. So head to the Game Time app for their lowest price guaranteed and other in-app features such as seat views, all-in pricing, and again, Game Time Picks, which makes it even easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, any tickets you are looking for, and take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right. So we'll do one quick run through the wheel. We'll get a 5.5 mock draft here.
By the way, look at this. Look at this top. Will Campbell, 3rd overall. Travis Hunter still on the board.
How about that? So maybe the wheel will bless us.
Well, I mean, we can get Travis offense and defense. I think. Well, we can't take Travis Hunter if it goes defense because we're playing him at wide receiver.
Yeah,
we should put 2A on there. And did you re-add? Yeah, you re-added. Yeah, we put 2A on there, and then if it's after the first pick, we do what's his name, JHAP Geese. All right. Brian didn't get to go on the first one, so he is up now with the first pick. At Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell off the board. I don't think you need me to name them out for you, Brian. I think you know what the board looks like at this point.
I know.
The board is yours.
So my decision. Oh, man.
But Will Campbell is gone. Which let's note in the first. Let's remember to note when we post this. Will Campbell gone.
Campbell went crazy.
And who was gone in the first? Is Mason Graham went, right?
Yeah, Graham went early.
I don't think we need to note that. The idea is if Carter's there, he's there.
All right. Easy. I'm not going to go crazy. Just give me Travis Hunter.
Good man, nice, Brian. Good man. Good pick.
Thank you.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Thank you.
Travis Hunter off the rip. That's what you should be doing. Good pick. Again, it says corner. We're drafting him as a receiver. That's how we do it.
Absolutely.
But good pick, Brian. Good job.
Let's see if we have to trade up
We
now.
should get. Yeah, I paused it. Remember the old Maddens? They used to clap or boo after you made your draft pick in
After the
franchise mode.
picks.
Yeah,
we just have the
we
wheel.
gotta.
We have the wheel to
We just
clap
have the
for
wheel
us now.
chairing and these stupid shoe ads. All right, give it a spin. Let's see. What do we got?
Oh, just pick. Okay.
Just pick at 34. All right. So this is essentially 2 just picks. Well, we can't trade up though.
No. So run it through.
We can only trade up when the wheel says to trade up. So we can't move up for a tackle.
Why did Kevin Winston jump up the simulator?
Josh Connerly is still there.
And Ursary.
I have no idea. It's their ranking. It's his ADP still 80.
That's weird. I like Kevin Winston,
Connerly,
but like
I don't think this is respect. Yeah. I don't think this is respecting the board for Connerly. I really don't. Well, the Chiefs somehow got Kelvin Banks at 31. I mean, if that happens.
Oh my God. When did Josh Simmons go?
He went 17 to the Bengals, which doesn't make any sense. Like the Dolphins are taking a tackle. The Dolphins are either they're taking a tackle, they're taking Shadur.
They could do anything, and it wouldn't surprise me.
That's true. But like, there's other teams here that need offensive linemen. So, are we going Ursary? Are we looking elsewhere? Or are we going Travis Hunter tackle, which might be the ideal scenario? Or do you think this is respecting the board for Connerly?
I think it could potentially be.
Do you want to say it is?
I think, yeah. So do you have a preference, Connerly or Ursary?
I'm personally Ursary, but if we're trying to predict what they would do, I think it's Connerly. And I don't think it's that much of a I think they're similar level prospects. It's more a stylistic thing than one. I don't think Ursary's better than Connerly. I think they're similar. Ursary plays the game more the way I like it played, personally. Josh McDaniels, I think you might like Connerly better. So, but I think they're both similar level prospects. Either one I'd be happy with.
Yeah. Yeah, but they've tended to...
If they're both on the board and they take Connerly over Ursary, I'm not going to rip them for it. Like it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And they've tended to go for that more, athletic.
Exactly.
Even Connerly's not small, but he's smaller than Ursary, right? 6'6".
Yeah. Well, Maz thinks he's small. Maz thinks he's way too small. I don't know if you heard that yesterday.
6'4", 310, 33.
6'5", 310, yeah.
Yeah, and then his arms, combine, he was 33.5, pro day 34 at a fourth.
Yeah.
So plenty of length, plenty of size, good athletic profile. I could definitely see them going Connerly if he's on board there.
Travis Hunter, Josh Connerly off the rip. Let's see how the wheel ruins this. So the last one, the wheel screwed us at the beginning and then gave us a lot of help. Let's see what happens this time. That's a good start. That's a very good start, though.
All right. Back to the wheel.
I'm having so much fun looking at the odds on the side. We got now Vagis still.
10. To the Big 10.
Is that Big 10 or is my...
It's Big 10.
Big 10. All right. Big 10 at... gotta let it run. Big 10 at pick 69. Kevin wins.
Dylan Sampson, great.
Who else is big? Yeah, he's not Big 10. Let's see if any of the Big 10 backs follow. There are some good Big 10 backs. Jeez, there's no Big 10 guys. Wow. Jordan Birch, Marcus Mabeau, if we want to guard, Terrence Ferguson, Jordan Phillips, Lathan Ransom. No, Kansas State's a Big 12. Jeez. Not much for the Big 10. Did any of the Big 10 running backs fall? No. Top 10. So. The top Big 10 running back on the board right now is Khalil Mullings. That doesn't help us. Jeez. Really not a lot of Big 10 guys in this range.
Kevin Winston or Terrence Ferguson, right? That looks like the argument. It's basically... Or Mabeau.
I'm not ruling out Marcus Mabo.
Okay.
Can step in, play some guard to be has some potential to be your long-term right tackle. I'm not ruling out Marcus Mabo here. Or Jordan Birch, honestly. Like, we can get an edge guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's more of a 3-4 guy, right? I kind of like Marcus Mabo here. Keep beefing up the line. Ferguson or Winston, you want to make a case?
I like Winston. I just don't know if they'll go safety round 3. You know, like I thought he was really a lot of potential 2 years ago. He tore his ACL last year, so they were probably getting value on him. But just with their safety room, I don't know if that makes sense, this early in the draft. So,
So Ferguson or Mabo, who do you like?
we could go Mbo. Just get that
It's
fake
also
jump set in there.
Yeah, it's also a
Love
little
that.
early for Ferguson. I like his versatility. I think he fills a couple needs for him. And I'm rooting for the kid because the NFL shafted him so bad with those combine measurements, lost a full inch. I'm really rooting for the kid. I'd love to root for him here. All right, Marcus Mabo at 69, and then I got to pause it. All right, so I paused it at 74. So here comes trade up. Travis Hunter, Josh Connolly, Marcus Mabo. We're loading up on offense. Let's hit the wheel.
Bring the wheel back up here.
O-line looks good, though. O-line looks good. Drake May's loving this draft. Next year, we should put in like Bill Belichick. We should just have a UNC one.
Trade down.
Trade down. Oh, down from 77. Let's see. How far down do we want to move? Oh, we got to get to the pick. Where do we have calls from? We got calls from 78. Oh, nobody's interested. All right, we'll just make it up. Who do you think might want to move up, Brian?
Who has a lot of picks? Does Houston have a lot of picks?
Let's scroll through. No.
What's a connection? Like Green Bay? Like what's someone with a connection to the front office?
Green Bay's a good one.
The Giants.
The Giants have a connection. Packers at 87.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What does 77 to 87 get us?
77 to 87 gets you something in like the 150 range, or they 159.
They have 159, and then we throw on a future. Can we throw on future
you
six?
You don't even have to. Oh, they throw on a future 6.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're moving up. They should overpay a little bit. Future 5. Future 5. Am I off on the chart now? Too much?
No, future 5 works.
All right.
They'd overpay by like 2 points. So that's
on the Bill chart, on the Rich Hill chart.
The Rich Hill chart, yeah.
Okay, 2 points on the other chart is like the last pick in the draft. Yeah, they should overpay. They're moving up. It said trade down, right?
Yeah.
Move down 10 spots. Help close a pick gap and pick up a pick next year. I'm good with that. How do you feel?
I'm in.
All right, let's do it. I think we traded with both Pennsylvania teams last time. Right. Oh, hopefully we didn't get trade up because I just ran it. So if we get trade up, we'll spin the wheel again, but I'm going to feel bad. I think we have to have a rule. Like, we can't have trade down and trade up back to back. Are we going to get it?
Well, we're going non-power 5 or power 4.
Non-P5.
I love that guy who, when they're clapping, the one guy in the background who just gives out the woo.
He's hyped. He's hyped about the non-power 5. Oh, Brian.
Non-power 5.
Oh, they're probably too redundant. He's probably too redundant to Travis Hunter, but Kyle Williams here would be awesome.
That would be fun.
Who else do we got? This is the same pick we took Charles Grant with last time. David Walker.
We don't have an edge, right?
We don't have an edge. Harold Fannin is a non-power 5 guy. I think that's kind of it, right? And then we get into like the real day 3. Who's next? Yeah, Ahmed Hassanine, I think it is. Jack Kaiser. Torrey Horton. It's a little early for Torrey Horton. Yeah, it's early for a lot of these guys here. All right.
I like David
So
Walker.
it's David Walker, Harold Finn. And why David Walker, Brian?
Well, we don't have an edge yet, and this dude is
Yeah.
powerful. He's a good athlete. I know it's Central
Arkansas.
Arkansas, but he dominated the competition there. He gives me a lot of kind of like because he's shorter and he's more compact, but he's powerful. He gives
Are
me
you going to
some
say
Brandon
Muhammad
Graham.
Kamara? Oh, okay.
No, I went, ceiling more
Ceiling,
Brandon
yeah.
Graham, kind of vibes, the physicality, in that type of body type, sturdy, smaller. So, he doesn't have, the ideal height or length, but, he can bring some power, some athleticism in that kind of smaller, compact body. So, I'm
Violent
a David
player.
Walker guy. Yeah.
Violent player, hard worker, a little bit of an underdog. Yep, I'm buying it. Tiny bit of a reach, but he seems like a variable guy. David Walker is the pick. All right, and this time I remember to pause it. So let's see what we get. So far, we have is Brian's pick, Travis Hunter. Our just make a regular pick, Josh Connerly. Big Ten pick, Marcus Mabo. Had a trade down. Got David Walker with our non-power 4 guy. And that's day 2. That's days 1 and 2. That's top 100. Unless we get trade up.
Uh-oh. SEC.
SEC. All right. It's going to be a lot of good SEC guys at 106. I like this. I like this a lot.
Texas
so Jaden Blue.
Jaden Blue.
Isaac Teslas, probably a little early. Trevor Etienne. Gunnar Helm. Billy Bowman. A lot of good options. Baron Sorrell. We just got an edge, so I don't know how much sense that makes. Jarquez Hunter. JJ Pegues. We want to get our fullback here. Now we're probably a little lower. We're probably choosing from some of those guys I already said. We already got an edge. Savion Jones would be in play here, but again, we got that edge guy. I don't think we're going to do that back to back. Early for Dante Thornton too. Who do you like, Brian? Maybe this is the Jaden Blue pick.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. This is the range where I think they would pick a running back. Dylan Sampson's probably the 69 range, and this is probably the Jaden Blue range. I just keep coming back to Robert Kraft saying speed back. Like, why is the owner saying they need a speed back? Probably because he heard they want a speed back, and that is Jaden Blue. What did he run? Let me pull that up. I know
Nothing for no thoughts on Gunnar Helm here.
I like Gunnar Helm.
I like Gunnar Helm
but
too. And I think this is like not disrespecting the board, but it's also getting him for good value. His team's weighing that combine a little more. You also know I like Billy Bowman here, get some help on the secondary, but everything you're saying, like Jaden Blue does make sense. The fumbles worry the crap out of me, but he does make sense.
He ran a 4.38. So
yeah,
there's your speed. He is explosive. He hit a ton of big plays for Texas. He played, I think he was on kick coverage too as well. So there are ball security questions. He had 5 fumbles last year, 7 over the last 2 years. So you have to clean that up, but there's your speed back that you want. He can catch the ball a little bit too. Like, I think that's and they brought him in for a visit, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. So definitely someone who's on their radar, and I think that makes sense at 106. That's probably his range.
All right. Jaden Blue it is. Oop. All right. It ran
down.
How far down did it run?
That was SEC, right? That was our...
Yeah, that was SEC. Right. And it went a lot for our pause. It got to 126, and we have 124. So that's still a decent trade up.
All right. Back to the wheel. We got Big 12, ACC, best player available, Barth's choice, chat choice, trade up, offense or defense.
Let's see what we got here.
Defense.
And we've already added an edge guy. So let's see. Geez, Kyle Williams still here in the 5th round. That's not happening. Defense. Billy Bowman still on the board. Like that a lot. Cody Simon, Kobe King, Danny Stutzman still on the board. And cornerback. Denzel Burke, maybe. Besides that, I don't love the cornerbacks that are here. Ty
Billy
Robinson.
Bowman's probably my top guy.
I think Bill. I really like Danny Stutzman. I do, and these guys, by the way, are good friends. But yeah, I think it's Billy Bowman.
Yep. All right, Billy Bowman.
Billy Bowman is the pick. We're gonna get trade up between 144 and 159, aren't we? We're gonna move up 10 spots. This is like the same place we moved up 10 spots last time. Let's see.
The wheel just loves.
Yeah.
Is it up? Oh, there it is. Okay.
There it is. Yeah. This is testing both of our computers.
I know it is.
I'm surprised we've gotten through it.
BPA.
BPA.
Barely.
Right.
Almost Barth choice, but
BPA. Let's see. Blindly respecting the board. So not Kyle Williams. Isaac Tesla at 144. Anybody higher than 144? Cleo Mullings 152. That's close. Marcus Yarns 183. That's not quite gonna do it.
Tesla,
160. Right? What was he?
144.
Okay,
it was 140 something.
Brenningstool's 159. I'm gonna go one more page just to make sure we respect the integrity of the wheel. But I think it's Isaac Tesla.
That's your guy.
Interesting pick from the board. Look, if they're gonna double up at receiver, Hunter and Tesla, that plays. Those two pair. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Oh, and then Kyle Williams goes to the next pick. Kyle Williams was the best player, but we're doing respect to board. So
yeah.
Very SEC heavy day. We're just hammering the SEC on day 3. And only one of them was because we had to. So adding some speed. We're adding some legit speed to this offense, Brian. To Slaw, Jaden Blue, Travis Hunter, Connerly's one of the quicker tackles for what it's worth. Well, if you want fast guys, what do you got to do, Brian?
Draft fast guys. All right.
That's what we should. Next year on the wheel, we really should have one that just says
fast guys.
Like we have to pick the best 40 at their position remaining.
Yeah,
offense.
That would be good.
Okay.
Offense.
Well, so me and Mike did one. This was like the pre-wheel version. And it was actually that year because they came out in their pre-draft press conference and talked about how like athleticism and all this and all that. So we did a mock draft where we could only take players with like a 9.5 RAS or better or whatever it was. And like we only drafted those guys. That's how we ended up with City So. That's literally how me and Mike learned who City So was. Neither of us had done any work on him, but we needed a lineman, and he was the only lineman there that qualified. So we got City So. It ended up being very accurate for what they were going to do. It might have been how they did the draft, which I don't love, but
yeah, they just basically, it looked like they drafted off RAS that year. Like everyone's card was bright green,
which is literally what me and Mike did. All right. So offense, Kyle McCord. Do we go quarterback? No. Well, we got our running back. Oh, so this is where Kyle Monangai with the double up, you get your speed back, you get your power back. We already doubled up a wide receiver. We have not taken a tight end. Caden Prescorn, Thomas Fedone, both good options. They still don't have Robbie Utes in the simulator. Are you kidding me? Rude. Very rude.
Shame.
If we want another tackle, I don't love the group of tackles that's here. It's probably high for Carson Vincent. Logan Brown, I don't think is their kind of guy. Emery Jones is probably a guard.
Seth
McLaughlin. Could go McLaughlin again. Do we not want to double up? I think McLaughlin.
We could go Majors this time, or is that too early for him?
I think it's too early for Majors. So do we want to double up and take McLaughlin, or do we want to like double up on drafts, or do we want to double up on running backs and take Monangai? I think that's what I'm down to here.
So I think in like real life, I'd rather go McLaughlin here, but we just picked them. Should we get a little, and we're doing the wheel, right? Should we get a little crazy and go with your two?
Let's get a little crazy. Let's double up. We'll get some speed. We'll get some power. We'll put them together. Complete backfield. Kyle Monangai. We'll see if the wheel gives us an opportunity. We don't have an interior defensive lineman either. So hopefully with one of those last 2 picks, or if we get moved down, I don't even know how we're going to add a pick from 220, but
do we still have trade down? Is that still one of our options?
Oh, no, we've trade up. We still have trade up. I don't know how we're going to add a pick moving up from 220.
All right, so we're down to 5. We have 2 picks left. We have Big 12, ACC, Barth's choice, chat choice, or trade up. So let's see what we got to wrap this up. 2 picks left.
Not trade up. Not trade up. Come on.
ACC.
All right, we can find a lineman in the ACC. I'm confident in that. Offensive or defensive, we'll find a lineman. Oh, I know we can take. It's a relatively easy one, but let's pull it all up. So Timothy McKay is a guard. Clay Webb. We can't take Clay Webb. Drew Kendall, ACC.
Drew Kendall, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I think that's a no-brainer, right? There's really nobody else. I don't really know that much about Timothy McKay.
Unless you want to go Ben Sauls.
Oh, you're right. Do we risk it? Do we risk not getting a lineman? Oh, we could also. Where is Louisville at this point? I can never keep track. Are they in the AAC or the ACC?
I
think they're in the American.
This says ACC. I don't know if that's right though.
No, they're in the ACC again. We could take Thor Griffin.
I think Kendall makes a ton of sense there.
You want to take Kendall?
Yeah.
All right.
Ben Sauls is tough to pass. We can mention the Colts cut Matt Gay today, who worked under Jeremy Springer. So maybe that's a veteran kicker addition they make. But yeah,
also,
if
we're going to take an ACC kicker, Borgalis is on the board too.
That's also true.
You want to go Drew Kendall?
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, let's go Drew Kendall. And I got to pause it in case you have to trade up from 238. That's not going to be any fun because we're going to have to move future picks, which I don't want to do. Come on, my pick. My pick. Right, let me close it strong.
You chat, trade up, or Big 12.
Oh, I let the chat. I'm rooting for chat here. Let the chat close it out. Come on, Wheel.
Oh,
damn it. That's no fun at all.
Trade up. What if you just offer the team ahead of us just a swap of 238 for 237?
I mean, we're at 225. All right, so we're going to move up from 238 to 225. No, who's the team that's going to be good? Oh, it's the Chiefs. They know their 7th rounder will be higher than ours. We're going to move back to 226. Oh, actually, hang on. They have like a ton of picks. We get Mr. Irrelevant. No, we can't. They won't do it unless we give up a future pick. Even then, they won't do it. So they're not going to do it. Who else? All right. Who knows? The Lions know they'll have a high pick. We'll move back to 228, and we'll get a future 7th, and we'll give up a future 7th. We'll give up ours. And the idea is probably that the Lions are going to finish with a better record than the Patriots. That work for you?
Sure.
I feel like every single one of these trades has just been up or down 10 spots.
Pretty much.
Wait, the Lions might not want to do it. Oh, shoot. Okay. Let's call the Steelers. Shoot, we only have one more go at this.
What happens if we don't get? Do we just force it? I mean, it's 7th round picks.
Yeah, I'll just force it.
Oh, we can't.
Yeah, we can. All right, spin the wheel one more time.
All right, whatever. We don't need to trade up in the 7th round. Should we just? Oh, did we trade up?
Oh no, wait! I traded down. Oh shoot! I traded down.
Whatever. No, I think you moved up.
Here's what we're gonna do.
What are we picking right now?
No, we moved down. We were at 238.
Yeah.
What's their last pick?
238.
How do we still? Oh, wait. What did I just do?
I don't think you did anything. I think we ran out of trades, and you just hit resume draft.
Oh wait, but it was trade down, right? The option was trade down.
No,
Oh no,
we
we
were
had to
supposed to
trade up.
trade up.
Should have included a player. All right.
Let's just spin the wheel
Spin the
again.
wheel,
And we'll
spin
go.
the wheel, spin the
Nothing.
wheel, and we'll see if
Nothing
there's a couple.
happened.
Yeah, maybe if there's a player on the board we still like, we'll
Do you want to
go ahead and
1v1 the
spin it.
chat here? Should we take out the Big 12 or
No,
leave the
I'll
Big
leave the
12?
Big 12. We already disrespected the wheel by me screwing up the trade.
All right. We are sorry, Lord Wheel.
It's gonna make it my choice, and I'm gonna get blasted for taking a bad player.
Brady Cook.
Yeah, I should have to do that, right? That should be my punishment. I was gonna take Thor Griffin if he's still here. He's still here. I should have to take Brady Cook, though. I think that's only fair.
Do what you please.
We'll
Your
take
pick.
Thor Griffin. I apologize for screwing up the trade. Hopefully it forgets in a year. Well, let me see. Because I was going to take Thor Griffin anyway. Nobody went in between that I would have taken. If it had been your pick, I mean, Hunter Wohler went. I was going to take Thor. I was going to take Thor Griffin anyway. So.
Holland Pierce went.
Yeah, that's not respecting the board, though.
True.
All right. So it never landed on trade up. We'll just pretend.
So here is a 5.5 from the wheel.
Yeah, here I got it right here.
Started well.
This one I would like. This one I would like a lot. Travis Hunter, Josh Connerly falls to 38. Marcus Maboso, boom, wide receiver, tackle, guard who can maybe be a right tackle. Right off the rip, move back. We got David Walker, so we got somebody off the edge. Jaden Blue, speed. Billy Bowman, physicality. Isaac Tesla, speed. Kyle Monungai, physicality. Trenches with Drew Kendall. A couple local guys at the end with Drew Kendall and Thor Griffin. Yeah, I like this one, Brian. If this is what they do, I'm going to be pretty freaking happy. I'm not going to lie. I worry a little bit about Jaden Blue with the fumbles. Besides that, yeah, I like this. I do really like this.
I mean, it's tougher to beat that 1-2 punch of Hunter and Connerly.
Won't happen because I angered the wheel, but
yeah. So like Hunter Connerly is one of the dream scenarios at the top, and then you add all that speed in the middle. Zach said no tight end. That's fair. You'd like to add a tight end in this class, but you got some good players. You got some speed. You got some two studs who should help you right away with Hunter Connerly. You boost the trenches in some of the other spots. So that's a good draft. I like that draft. 5.5 for the win.
Yeah, that's going to be. We're not going to get any better than that. We're really not. Even though I angered the wheel.
All right.
I might try to go through and redo it and just see if it, because we were going to make that trade. I might just see if I can get one for Twitter that puts that trade in there.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that is the wheel. Shout out the wheel. We love doing the wheel once every draft season.
Yeah.
So we will.
And I hope some people learned about some new players. Ultimately, if you learned about some new players, then it was worth it.
I think we definitely hit on a lot of guys we haven't talked about. Obviously the Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter's at the top, but having to go Trey Harris, round 2, Marcus Mabo, some guys we haven't touched on too much. So touched on some new players. So that's good. And then again, last year it led us to Jalen Polk with the wheel. So that was the wheel.
Let me ask you this, Brian, outside of the first round guys, obviously, right? Because we'll get one. I'd be surprised if they don't take, we took the 2 guys that might not be there, but like outside of the first round guys, who's the most likely from this year's wheel draft to go to the Patriots?
Let me think. So I have the first draft.
I have the first one right here. Trey Harris, Elijah Arroyo, Charles Grant, Jacob Parrish, Seth McLaughlin, LaQuint Allen, and Kareem Reed.
I might put Trey Harris, honestly. Second round, receiver with size.
I'm going to say Drew Kendall.
Drew Kendall.
That might be like a little bit of a free space, but I'm going to say Drew Kendall.
Yeah. So the first one, I would say, first draft, I'd say Trey Harris or maybe Seth McLaughlin too, just with the Ohio State connection. Second draft, Drew Kendall or Jaden Blue, just because they held him on a visit again, and speed. They want speed, so that makes sense in that range too. So those would probably be my two choices from each draft. There, that's how I would go.
Yeah,
But
I'd agree with that.
all right, so we will post those. You can't yell at us. You have to yell at the wheel.
Well, they could yell at us for the Barth and Brian picks.
That's I picked Travis Hunter. I'm not getting yelled at. Oh, someone will probably yell at me.
You're not.
But look for those at real Alex Barth on Twitter, at I am Brian Hines on Twitter. Make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you do know when we go live. You can also check out Barth's work at 985thesportshub.com and our draft coverage at patspulpit.com. We will be back next week. Last week before the draft, we'll figure out something to talk about early in the week. Oh, we hear from Mike Vrabel, so we'll probably talk about that.
Yeah, we won't be. We're going to do
conference.
Tuesday next week to react.
Yeah, he's going Tuesday, so we'll react to that. And then our final mock on Thursday. We'll bring it home with mock draft 6.0. So in the meantime, hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and we will see everyone next week.
Oh, I got to end it. Bye.